Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
It's always excited to be here.
Great. And I think this one is going to be particularly fascinating. Um,
Yeah.
we're going to be tackling Napoleon Hill today.
Ah, classic.
Yeah, we've got, some of his writings here. Obviously, the big one, Think and Grow Rich.
Of
Um,
course. Yeah.
but I think what we're going to focus on in this deep dive is this idea that our assumptions, the things that we believe about ourselves, about the world, can actually harden into facts.
Oh,
It's
instant.
almost like, the mind is a blueprint, and then the universe is kind of like the contractor that brings those blueprints into reality.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be really intriguing because Hill, he was kind of a pioneer in, personal success philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. His insights, they are just as relevant today, I think, as they were, almost a century ago when he was writing.
Absolutely, and that's what's so fascinating about this. Like, you're saying that if I truly believe I can achieve something, that belief itself will start to affect my actions, my choices, the opportunities that come my way.
Yeah, he spent decades, right, studying the minds of all these high achievers. And, one of his most profound discoveries was that our minds, they aren't just passively, observing reality, they're actively shaping it.
Wow.
What we believe deeply and truly, that becomes our reality.
Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. So you're saying that if I really believe that I can, I don't know, write a best-selling novel,
Sure.
that belief itself will start to influence my actions. So I'm going to be more likely to sit down and write every day. I'm going to be more likely to, seek out an agent, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like believing in something. It sets a powerful force in motion, right?
Yeah.
And you see this throughout history. I mean, think about someone like Henry Ford. Back when cars were, just this novelty.
Yeah. He had this unwavering belief that automobiles would revolutionize transportation, and everyone around him thought it was crazy.
Oh, I'm sure.
But Ford, he held on to that assumption,
Right.
and his actions flowed from that belief.
And that unwavering belief ultimately led to, the creation of a massive industry
Yeah, absolutely.
that changed the world.
Yeah.
It's incredible to think that, like, one person's assumption could have that much of a ripple effect.
It is remarkable. And, Hill provides so many examples of this. It's almost as if when we assume something with absolute certainty, the universe, starts rearranging itself to accommodate that belief.
So this is where it gets really, really mind-boggling for me. Hill goes on to say that these deep-seated assumptions, especially the ones that are kind of nestled in our subconscious,
Yeah.
actually act like commands to the universe.
Yeah.
That it's not just wishful thinking.
Right.
It's about the mind literally influencing the course of events.
Yeah.
How does that even work?
Well, Hill, he doesn't really delve into the mechanics of it.
But he observed this principle at work time and time again. And it's almost like our minds, they're transmitting a powerful signal, drawing certain experiences, certain outcomes into our lives. He calls it a law of human existence.
A law. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm trying to get my head around this law, how does this tie into the power of visualization? Because I know a lot of successful people, athletes, entrepreneurs, they all talk about visualizing their desired outcomes as if they're already happening. Are they tapping into the same principle?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Visualization is a very, very powerful tool for harnessing this law. When we vividly imagine something in our subconscious mind, it doesn't differentiate between that mental image and actual reality.
Really?
It starts firing the same neural pathways, releasing the same hormones, essentially priming us for that outcome.
So if I'm visualizing myself giving an amazing presentation at work, my mind is already experiencing that feeling of confidence, the sense of accomplishment.
Exactly. Even before you step on stage, right?
Yeah.
It's like creating a mental rehearsal, preparing your mind and your body for success. And the more vivid and emotionally charged that visualization,
Yeah.
the more powerful the effect.
That makes total sense. It's like we're pre-paving the neural pathways for
Yeah.
the experience that we want to create.
Yeah.
But what about those of us who, I don't know, struggle to visualize or who feel maybe stuck in a negative loop? Life throws curveballs, things happen
Of course, yeah.
that make it hard to believe in a better future.
You've hit on a really crucial point. Hill emphasizes that our current reality, often it's a reflection of our past assumptions.
Oh.
If we've been assuming, lack or limitation or failure, those assumptions, they've shaped our experiences up to this point.
Right.
But here's the good news. Reality is not fixed.
Okay.
It's fluid and constantly responding to our evolving beliefs.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you right, you're saying that even if my current reality feels pretty bleak, like I have the power to change it by shifting my underlying assumptions.
Precisely. And Hill offers some incredible examples of individuals who did just that. He tells stories of people born into poverty who, by embracing the assumption of wealth and abundance, saw their circumstances drastically change.
Really?
Yeah. He talks about individuals facing serious illness who, through unwavering belief in their healing, defied all medical odds. It really highlights the power we have within us to really shift our circumstances, by changing our deeply held beliefs.
That's empowering. But I imagine doubt plays a huge role here, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's so easy to get bogged down by our current circumstances and lose faith in the possibility of something better.
Right.
How do we deal with that?
You're absolutely right. Doubt is a major obstacle to really manifesting our desired reality.
Yeah.
And Hill, he says that doubt, it acts like a corrosive agent, It weakens the power of our assumptions.
Right.
And it prevents them from taking root in our subconscious minds.
So how do we combat that doubt? How do we cultivate unshakable faith, especially when things feel really, really tough?
Hill's answer to this is something he calls faith. And this is not, about religion.
Right.
This is about an unwavering belief in the desired outcome, even before we see any tangible evidence.
Okay.
It's a deep-seated conviction that what we're assuming is already in the process of becoming real.
So it's about holding on to that belief even when the external world seems to contradict it.
Exactly. It's like planting a seed, right?
Yeah.
You don't dig it up every single day to see if it's sprouted yet.
Right, right.
You trust the process, you nurture it, and you have faith that in time, it will grow.
I love that analogy. But how do we develop that kind of unwavering faith? Especially when, so many of us have been conditioned to believe that seeing is believing.
Well, he talks about this idea that there's no neutrality in thought.
Okay.
We're constantly assuming something, either consciously or unconsciously. Either we're assuming success, abundance, growth, or we're assuming failure, lack, and stagnation.
So a lot of us are probably operating on autopilot and just letting our circumstances dictate our beliefs instead of the other way around.
That's right. And Hill, he argues that this is where so many people get stuck.
Yeah.
They see lack, so they assume more lack.
Right.
They experience failure, so they assume more failure. And it becomes this self-perpetuating cycle.
So how do we break free from that cycle? How do we consciously choose our assumptions and align them with the reality that we want to create?
Yeah, it all starts with awareness,
Okay.
Just pay attention to your thoughts throughout the day, right?
Yeah.
And just ask yourself, what assumptions am I making right now? Are they empowering me or are they limiting me?
That's a great question for all of us to consider.
Absolutely.
Just take a moment and ask yourself, what assumptions am I carrying around?
Yeah.
Are they serving me or are they sabotaging my potential?
Once you've identified those limiting assumptions, then you can start replacing them with more empowering ones.
Okay.
This is what Hill calls the discipline of assumption.
It sounds like this isn't just about positive thinking, right?
No.
It's about actively choosing a new belief and holding on to it with unwavering conviction, even when the external world seems to contradict it.
You got it. It's about refusing to let your circumstances dictate your internal state. It's about trusting in the power of your mind to shape your reality.
But honestly, that sounds really challenging. It's easy to visualize success when everything is going well.
Right.
But what about when we're facing setbacks, obstacles, or even outright failures? How do we maintain that unshakable belief then?
That's where persistence becomes so important. And, he emphasizes that the subconscious mind, it needs time to catch up.
Okay.
It's like programming a computer, right?
Yeah.
The new instructions, they need to overwrite the old ones.
Right.
For the system to run differently.
So it's not a one-time affirmation.
Yeah.
It's about consistently feeding our minds with the desired assumption day after day until it becomes our dominant belief.
Exactly. And, Hill gives all these powerful examples of individuals who embodied this principle. Think about the Wright brothers,
Yeah.
They assumed that flight was possible when everyone else thought it was a fantasy.
Yeah, totally.
Henry Ford, who envisioned mass-produced automobiles, when others saw it as a pipe dream.
Right.
Thomas Edison, who persisted in his belief in the electric light despite countless setbacks.
They all faced immense resistance.
Right.
But they refused to abandon their assumptions. And their persistence paid off in a big way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They understood that reality, it isn't fixed, It's malleable.
Wow.
And by holding on to their assumptions with unwavering conviction, they literally bent reality to their will.
It's almost as if they willed those innovations into existence
Yeah.
through the sheer force of their belief.
That's a great way to put it. They understood the power of the subconscious mind and how it works tirelessly to manifest whatever it's fed. And this brings us to another crucial point. The subconscious, it doesn't judge or question. It simply accepts what it's given as truth, and it starts working to make it a reality.
So, I mean, we really need to be mindful about what we're feeding our subconscious minds, right? Like, are we empowering it to create the reality that we want?
Yeah.
Or are we kind of accidentally sabotaging ourselves with these limiting beliefs?
That's the key takeaway here. Our thoughts have consequences.
Yeah.
They're not just these, fleeting things that pop in and out of our heads.
Right.
They are the seeds of our reality.
So this principle that we're talking about, it's not just for inventors and entrepreneurs and people who are already achieving amazing things. It applies to everyone.
Absolutely. This is a universal principle.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if we're talking about financial success, improving our health, building strong relationships, overcoming challenges. The principle is the same. It's about understanding the power of our assumptions, and using them to create the life we desire.
So it's not about denying the challenges or pretending like everything is perfect.
No.
It's about choosing empowering assumptions that will guide our actions.
Yes.
And ultimately shape our experiences.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about understanding that reality is fluid.
Yeah.
It's malleable, and it's constantly responding to our thoughts and beliefs.
So to really change our lives,
Yeah.
we need to start by changing our assumptions.
That's the first step. And then it's about persisting in those new assumptions.
Right.
Nurturing them, reinforcing them, until they become so deeply ingrained in our subconscious minds that reality has no choice but to align with them.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
Oh, it's been fun.
I think we've all gained a much deeper understanding of the power of our thoughts, the profound impact they have on our lives. So for our listeners out there who are ready to start applying this principle, where do we begin? What's the first step?
Here's a powerful question for you to ponder. What one assumption, if held with absolute certainty, would have the greatest positive impact on your life right now?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It really makes you kind of stop and think about what you truly want.
Yeah.
And start seeing it as a possibility.
Exactly. Choose that assumption and start nurturing it daily. Write it down, visualize it, meditate on it, feel it as if it's already true. And most importantly, pay attention to any resistance that comes up, right? Any doubts, fears, limiting beliefs, and gently but firmly replace them with your chosen assumption.
So it's about creating a new internal story.
Yeah.
One that reflects the reality that you want to create.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And as you consistently reinforce that new story, you'll start to notice these subtle shifts in your external world, right?
Yeah.
Opportunities may appear, synchronicities may occur, and circumstances may align in ways that you couldn't have predicted.
It's like the universe is conspiring to help us manifest our desires, but only once we've made that internal shift in our beliefs.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And remember, persistence is key. The subconscious mind, it needs time to reshape reality to match our new beliefs. So don't get discouraged if you don't see results overnight. Just trust the process, stay committed to your chosen assumption, and watch as your world begins to transform. It's been a pleasure diving deep into Napoleon Hill with you. Thanks for having me.
This has been a mind-blowing deep dive into Napoleon Hill's work. You are the architect of your own reality. Choose your assumptions wisely and dare to create a life that truly reflects your highest potential. Thanks for joining us on this journey of self-discovery. Until next time,